My next guest flipped her district in South Carolina from blue back to red. Republican Nancy Mace, welcome to the program and good afternoon to you today.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me on this afternoon.
You bet. Congratulations. Listen, you worked as a waitress at the Waffle House. You're a single mom. You're in a district that's been red for a long time. It went blue in 2018. Why do you think you turned the trick this year?
Well, I outworked my opponent. I learned a lot of tough lessons at a very young age when I dropped out of high school. And my first job was, as you say, as a waitress at the Waffle House. I learned about the value of hard work. And when you have a dream and you work hard, you can achieve it. And we did that. We made possible what so many people said was impossible last week when we won the seat back by razor-thin margins. And to do this, to be the first Republican woman elected to Congress from the state of South Carolina, 21 years ago, I was the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina. But to make history with all of these women that are out there across the country doing it right now, it's historic and it's deeply humbling.
Okay, how much did the name Trump have to do with your victory? Because he wasn't on the ballot 2 years ago. What was the difference this time?
Right.
Now, I mean, with full respect, we know Republicans are dominant in South Carolina, have been now for some time. Go ahead.
Right. But the margins changed this time around 2 years later. Charleston, South Carolina is predominantly the area of this district. We've had a lot of influx, particularly during COVID-19, of people moving into that area from out of state. It's a great place to live, work, and retire. But this year, what we saw, not just on the Republican side with the president being on the ballot, but on the Democrat side as well, we saw record turnout. And in the district where I ran, we had anywhere between 70 and 75% of voters turn out, which is enormous. It's historic. But I think it goes to show where people are right now, because it was record turnout on both sides of the aisle. I believe that Americans want us to work together to get something done this time around. Okay,
so I'll take you out to California. You can reflect on national trends. LA Times, Republicans push back the 2018 blue wave in Orange County. Now, listen, that's in California, but you've seen pickups elsewhere. It's not decided yet, but it appears Republicans have outperformed the expectations. How come?
100% across the board. Well, people are motivated, and one of the untold stories of this election cycle were all of the Republicans that won down the ballot as well, with the census coming on in 2020. It's a big deal across the country. We also flipped state legislatures from blue to red, and we had all these Republicans flipping blue seats back, especially with moderate Democrats. We flipped them back to Republican this cycle because I believe that people are kind of tired of the divisiveness that's happening right now, but that's also a motivator, getting them out to vote, and for some people, voting Republican for the first time in their life.
Well, what are party insiders saying about Joe Biden right now? Are they saying go ahead and call him president-elect, or hold back on that? Just give us a sense what's happening with those conversations.
I mean, no, most Republicans, I believe, they want to see the legal processes exhausted to see where there were problems in the election. There was a very close race, obviously, in Georgia with over 5 million votes and low single thousands in difference. In Pennsylvania, we had absentee ballots that were being counted that came in after Election Day, and the Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that, but they did it anyway. You know, our American voting system is only as good as the public's confidence in it. And so we've got to make sure that every legal vote is counted, and any vote illegally cast, any illegal ballot, is discounted or set aside. That confidence is going to mean so much. At the end of the day, regardless of who wins this election, people have to have confidence in the outcome and how we got there.
So you're okay then just cooling your heels right now and kicking back and letting this thing go for a while? Wow.
We waited 47 days in 2000, so
37 days.
7 or 8 days now. Yeah, 37. But we're 8 days in now.
Last question, if I could. I apologize about interrupting you. But women increased their numbers in the Republican Party in Congress. But we were told during this election that suburban women are turning their back on this president, and they may have to a greater degree from 2016. But why do you get the results now?
Well, we doubled the number of Republican women in the House. It's enormous to be part of history, especially 100 years after women's suffrage. But we worked hard. I've met several of these women that won these races, and they are fighters and they work hard. And I think, like in my race and many of the others, we just outworked our opponent. And in many cases, we were all outspent by the Democrat incumbent, and we won anyway. And so that's exciting to be a part of it and be a part of history.
Nancy Mace, thank you for your time. And at one point, welcome to Washington. Thank you for sharing
Thank you so
with
much.
us today. You bet.